Hey friends, what would you do if your next job didn't just risk your life? It guaranteed your death. Tonight, you're not just a witness to history. You become the doomed heartbeat of an empire, racing against assassins, rebels, and the king's own paranoia. This isn't just another ancient story. This is the true tale of the Persian Empire's suicide messengers. Men who carried words sharp enough to topple kingdoms, and who paid for every letter with blood. Ready to ride? Before we begin, I'm going to ask you for a favor. Tell me something. Where in the world are you watching from right now? And what's the strangest job you've ever heard of? Drop it in the comments. I love seeing where you're all tuning in from, and what bizarre careers keep you up at night. Oh, and if you enjoy taking weird, sometimes disturbing journeys through history, feel free to hit like and subscribe. That would really help me to keep going. Thank you. Now get comfortable. Maybe dim the lights. Maybe throw a thin rug over your shoulders, because tonight's story is going to carry you straight into dust, sweat, and the brutal heartbeat of an empire. Imagine the sun blazing off endless plains, the sting of sand whipping your skin, and the knowledge that you're running not for victory, not for glory, but straight toward your own death. Congratulations. You've just been recruited as one of the suicide messengers of the Persian Empire. You open your eyes to a sky the color of molten copper. The dawn sun hovers low, already radiating heat like a forge. You're standing on an ancient road carved into the earth, your feet planted in dust that seems to rise in shimmering waves. Around you stretch miles and miles of nothing. Just scrub brush, scattered stones, and the silent, watchful mountains beyond. And in this silence, you hear the sound that's going to haunt you until your last breath. Hoofbeats. Because in the Persian Empire, nothing travels faster than information. Well, except maybe arrows. But the Achaemenid kings, the rulers of Persia, don't have time to wait for slow gossip. They've built something extraordinary. The royal road, thousands of kilometers of rock and packed dirt, linking the heart of the empire to its outer edges. Messengers race across it day and night, carrying wax-sealed orders from the King of Kings himself. These messengers ride at top speed. They change horses at stations placed every few leagues. They push their bodies until muscle tears, until blood seeps from under their nails gripping the reins. Why? Because in the Achaemenid world, news that's late is the same as news that's dead. And sometimes, like in your case, that news is so critical, so urgent, so dangerous that delivering it means your own life is over the moment you hand it off. You stand there, heart pounding, as your overseer, an officer in a tall felt hat, his beard twisted into neat coils, unrolls a scroll and reads the royal order. His voice echoes off the rocks, sharp as flint. The message shall not be intercepted. The message shall not be delayed. You shall ride with all haste. And upon delivering the words of the king, you shall die. No pressure, right? Your mouth is dry as bone dust. You swallow, but it's like trying to drink sand. You look around, hoping someone will laugh and say this is a joke. No one laughs. Nearby, other messengers stare at the ground, knuckles white on their reins. Some blink rapidly, as though willing back tears. A few mutter prayers under their breath to Ahura Mazda, the great God of truth and light. Because if there's ever a moment you want divine intervention, it's when your job description ends with the words, and then you die. Your overseer doesn't even look at you as he motions you forward. A stable hand brings out your horse. It's a lean creature, ribs showing under a slick coat, eyes rolling wide with nerves. The stable hand's hands shake as he helps you mount up. The horse smells like sweat, leather, and the bitter oil the Persians rub on their animals' flanks to keep insects away. Then your overseer leans in close. His breath smells of dates and old wine. Ride fast. If the enemy catches you, you know what to do. You know, everyone knows. Persian messengers don't get captured. Ever. The punishment for capture is torture. Skin flayed, eyes burned out, tongue cut, secrets extracted inch by screaming inch. So each messenger carries a small, razor-sharp dagger hidden in his belt. A last resort. If enemies close in, you use the dagger. On yourself. Your stomach churns. You force your eyes on the horizon. a blazing line of silver where the sun burns the mountaintops. And just like that, you're off. Hooves slam into packed earth. Wind tears your hair. The world blurs into streaks of tan and gold and heat. You ride so hard that your teeth rattle in your skull. The saddle creaks. The horse's breath comes in wet gasps. The royal road is merciless. Stones slip under the horse's hooves. Dust chokes your lungs. Flies buzz your face, drawn to the sweat pouring off you like river water. Every few leagues you hit a station, a relay post manned by soldiers who barely glance at your face. They shove a fresh horse under you, rip the message pouch off your belt, replace it with another. Water skins are thrust into your hands. You drink in savage gulps. The water tastes like leather, metal, and faint mold. And then you're back on the road, the pounding thunder of hooves in your ears. But here's the part no one tells you about being a Persian messenger. It's not just the physical agony. It's the mind. Because mile after mile, hour after hour, you're alone with one thought echoing in your skull. I am riding toward my death. The empire is enormous. From Susa to Sardis to Ecbatana, the royal road stretches longer than the lifetime of a man who works the fields. Messengers cross snow-capped mountains, blistering deserts, tangled forests where shadows shift like ghosts. Sometimes you glimpse villages huddled near the road. People look up as you gallop past, eyes wide, faces gaunt with fear, because they know, when a royal messenger rides this fast, it means trouble, war, betrayal, death. By midday, your thighs burn from gripping the saddle. The inside of your knees are raw. Your lips are cracked and bleeding. You try not to think about the dagger at your waist. You try not to imagine the look on your mother's face when soldiers bring home the news that her son ran himself into the grave for a king who doesn't even know his name. But you do imagine it, over and over. At one station, the stable hand who helps you switch horses is an old man. His beard is white, his eyes sunken. As he tightens your saddle straps, he whispers, "May Ahura Mazda keep your soul." They say the king himself wrote this message. It's that important. Your stomach drops. The king himself? That means high treason. Maybe a rebellion somewhere out west. Maybe an assassination plot. Whatever it is, you've just become the expendable thread tying the empire together. The next leg of your ride takes you into a narrow mountain pass. Cliffs loom over you, shadowing the road. You hear rocks tumble somewhere high above. Your horse's ears flick. You tighten your grip on the reins because this is prime ambush territory. And sure enough, a moment later, shapes burst from behind a boulder. For men, beards, ragged cloaks, curved blades flashing in the sun. Bandits, or maybe enemy spies. Your heart hammers like a war drum. You spur your horse hard, screaming as the men rush you. One swings a sword. It slices the air inches from your ribs. You duck low, feel the whistle of steel past your ear. Sand explodes under pounding feet. One bandit grabs your horse's bridle. You see his eyes yellowed, desperate, bloodshot. He snarls, "What message do you carry? Tell us, and we'll let you live." The words echo in your skull, horrible and tempting. Let you live. Let you live. But you know the rules. No messenger talks. Ever. So you wrench the reins sideways, slam your knee into your horse's side, and somehow break free. You gallop so fast the bandits disappear behind you in a haze of dust. But you're shaking. Your dagger suddenly feels heavier on your belt than your entire body. You realize how close you were to stopping right there, to spilling every secret just to save your own skin. And you hate yourself for even thinking it. By sunset, the sky glows orange and violet. You're filthy, trembling, half delirious. But you keep going, because you're the royal lifeline. And until that scroll leaves your hands, the Empire's fate might hang on your pulse. Finally, in the last pale shimmer of daylight, you thunder into a walled city. Soldiers rush to meet you, spears clashing on the ground. You're dragged from your horse. Hands seize your pouch. You watch as the officer breaks the seal and reads the scroll under a flickering torch. His eyes go wide. He barks orders. Troops scatter into the darkness. War drums begin to beat somewhere beyond the gates. And that's when he turns to you, expression flat, voice deadly calm. The king thanks you for your service. You know what comes next. But as soldiers close in around you, one thought slashes through the fog of exhaustion and terror. I wonder how many other messengers are riding right now, knowing they'll never come back. Because in the Persian Empire, a message might cost a kingdom. But delivering it, that costs a life. The cold hits you like a slap. It's night now, and the desert is black velvet pricked with stars. The day's heat is gone, replaced by air so chill it burns your teeth when you breathe. You stand there, legs wobbling, while soldiers drag away your horse and shuffle you toward the edge of the city. You can still hear war drums in the distance. Somewhere, the empire is shifting, wheels grinding toward blood. The officer who took your message doesn't look at you again. He's already barking new orders. And you stand there trembling because you know how this ends. You delivered the scroll. You fulfilled your mission. And now you're a liability. But instead of a sword sliding across your throat right then and there, they tie your wrists and blindfold you. You stumble forward as guards shove you along narrow streets. Your boots scrape over stone. The city smells of ash, oil lamps, and the sour tang of sweat-soaked linen. You hear babies crying, merchants shouting in languages you barely understand. You glimpse torches flaring against mud-brick walls. And always underneath everything, the low, steady hum of fear. Eventually, you're thrown into a chamber so small your knees knock the walls when you try to sit. They rip off the blindfold. A single oil lamp flickers on a ledge, casting shadows like black claws across the stone. The air tastes of dust and old blood. You're left alone. Your head spins. Your throat is raw from gulping wind all day. You try to calm your breathing, but your pulse won't slow. Your brain replays the ride again and again. The bandit's blades, the overseer's voice, the look in that officer's eyes when he read the scroll. You stare at the lamp flame and think, so this is where I die. But hours pass. No one comes. You drift in and out of sleep, twitching awake whenever your head slumps forward. Finally, at some point when the stars have shifted high overhead, the door scrapes open. A man enters, robed in white linen. He smells of herbs, dust, and something faintly metallic. His face is lined, his eyes bright as polished stones. He kneels in front of you and gently tilts your chin up. His fingers are cool and dry. You carried the king's message, he murmurs, voice like silk. Tell me, did anyone see the seal? Did you speak to anyone on the road? You shake your head so quickly your vision blurs. No one, you croak. He studies your eyes, as if searching for cracks in your soul. You can feel your heart battering against your ribs. Then, to your astonishment, he smiles. Good. You've done well. You don't know how to respond. He reaches into his robes and withdraws a small clay bottle sealed with wax. Drink this, he says. Your hands tremble as you take it. You hesitate, but his gaze sharpens. Drink. So you do. The liquid is bitter and thick, tasting of roots and crushed leaves. Warmth slides down your throat. Almost instantly, the trembling in your limbs subsides. Your heartbeat slows. Colors seem sharper, your breath easier. The man nods, satisfied. Sleep now. In the morning, you'll ride again. Your stomach turns cold. Ride again, you whisper. He gives a sad little chuckle. The empire is large. Its enemies are many. One message is never enough. And just like that, you understand, there's no retirement for messengers. No final mission. No sweet release from the saddle. The empire squeezes you dry, one ride after another, until either a blade finds you, or you find your own dagger first. But the potion he gave you makes your eyelids heavy. You're sinking into a strange softness, your thoughts drifting like clouds. In the last flicker of lamplight, you see the robed man turn away, already speaking to a soldier waiting in the shadows. Mark him. He's fast. And he doesn't crack under questioning. Then the door shuts, and darkness swallows you whole. When you wake, dawn is clawing over the city walls, pale and merciless. The door bangs open. Two soldiers haul you out, barely giving you time to pee in a clay bowl shoved into your cell. You stagger, knees weak, as they shove you into the courtyard. Already, New horses stand saddled. Other messengers wait there too. Some look as wrecked as you feel. Others seem blank, eyes dull as old coins. A few have fresh scars on their faces. One man is missing an ear. You realize with a shudder that you've joined an exclusive club, brothers in dust and blood, each one a thread tying the empire together. An overseer steps forward, scroll in hand. His beard is flecked with gray. His gaze schemes over the messengers like he's counting livestock. You, and you. He jabs a finger at you and another man. North Road, urgent. No stops except at relay posts. Your stomach knots. You feel the phantom ache of your thighs and knees from yesterday's ride. But before you can speak, the overseer glares. Any man who refuses the king's service shall lose his tongue and his eyes. Mount up. Your mouth goes dry. You climb onto your horse. The saddle feels like torture under your raw skin. You grip the reins, forcing your back straight. Beside you, the other chosen messenger. A skinny youth with hollow cheeks. Leans closer and whispers. They say there's a rebellion near Ecbatana. Whole provinces trying to break free. The king is sending orders to execute the rebel leaders. Your skin crawls. You want to ask, and what happens if the rebels catch us first? But you already know the answer. So you ride. And this time, the road feels different. The first ride stripped the illusions away. Now you notice details you'd missed before. The vultures circling overhead. The dry whisper of reeds along riverbanks. The smell of carrion wafting on the wind. Sometimes, in the distance, you glimpse columns of smoke spiraling skyward. Villages burned. Fields torched. Punishment for disloyalty. You try not to look. But it's impossible not to wonder whether your message will be the one that dooms another village to flames. At one relay post, a woman brings you water. She's old, hunched, her face a map of sun cracks. As you drink, she mutters in a low voice, "Do you know why they call you suicide messengers?" You swallow hard. "Because we die on delivery." She snorts. "No, it's because the king has already decided you're dead. Whether you come back or not doesn't matter. You're dead the moment they send you out." Her words hang in the air like smoke. You want to laugh or scream or run, but you just hand back the water skin and climb back on your horse. By mid-afternoon, heat pounds down like a hammer. Your tunic sticks to your back with sweat. Your mouth tastes of copper. Flies crawl along your neck, tiny feet pricking your skin. You pass another messenger riding south. His eyes dart everywhere, wild and red-rimmed. He's mumbling to himself as his horse staggers past. Can't sleep. They're waiting in the dark. You watch him disappear into the glare behind you and wonder how long it'll be before you look exactly like that. The next mountain pass is worse than the first. The road winds along a sheer cliff, rocks sliding under your horse's hooves. Below you yawns a drop so deep you can't see the bottom. The wind howls like an animal, threatening to rip you off the saddle. Halfway across, you spot figures on the ridge above. Shapes moving, shifting. Your breath stops. You tense, gripping the reins. But nothing happens. The shapes vanish like ghosts. You tell yourself you imagined it. But deep down, you know the truth. The Empire has enemies everywhere, and they're watching the roads. At dusk, you reach the next city. This one is smaller, huddled against the foothills. Its walls stained red in the fading sun. Soldiers wave you through the gates. Inside, the streets are quiet. People hurry along with heads down. The air tastes of dust and old incense. You see a priest standing outside a temple, chanting prayers into the wind. His robes flap around him like wings. A stable hand takes your horse. You're led into a barracks. There, an officer takes your message pouch, slits the seal, and reads. His expression shifts from irritation to fear. He snaps his fingers. Soldiers rush off in every direction. You stand there, swaying, trying not to vomit from exhaustion. The officer finally looks at you. Rest 2 hours. Then you ride again. Orders from the king. 2 hours. That's it. You stumble toward a wooden bench and collapse. The other messenger, the hollow-cheeked youth, drops beside you. He's shaking so badly his teeth chatter. "I can't do this," he whispers. I thought I could, but I can't. I'm going to run. Your heart lurches. You grab his arm. Don't. They'll hunt you down. They'll hang your body from the gates. He stares at you, eyes huge. Then maybe that's better. I'd rather die quick than like this. He's still shaking when a soldier comes to drag him away. You never see him again. 2 hours later, you're back in the saddle. The night air is icy, stars wheeling above like 1,000 cold eyes. You ride under moonlight, the road glowing silver. Somewhere along the way, you start talking to yourself. Anything to break the silence. You recite prayers, snippets of songs, childhood memories, but the words sound hollow, echoing back off the rocks. By dawn, your vision blurs. You're coughing dust. Your throat is raw. Your skin feels like parchment stretched over bone. But you keep riding, because in the Persian Empire, no one outruns the king's words. Not even the man tasked with delivering them. And as the sun climbs higher, the thought claws at the back of your skull. How many more rides? How many more days until the dagger is faster than the horse? The road unfurls ahead of you like a cracked leather whip, and every hoofbeat sends a jolt of pain up your spine. It's not just physical anymore. It's something deeper, a grinding in your soul, like stone wearing against stone. You start to feel like you're two people riding the same horse. One who's still clinging to hope and one who's already given up. By noon, the sun is merciless. The landscape ripples under waves of heat. Hills shimmer like they're made of molten copper. Your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth. You've drunk all the water in your flask hours ago. When you reach the next relay station, your horse collapses in the dust, sides heaving. The stable boys rush forward, trying to pull it up, but its legs buckle. One boy looks at you and shakes his head. Too far, too fast. He mutters. You stand there, swaying, as they lead the horse away. Part of you wants to scream, not for the animal, but because now you'll have to wait for another mount. Time is slipping. You know what that means. Punishment. Inside the station, a scribe sits behind a wooden table, scratching notes into a wax tablet. He doesn't look up as you drop the message pouch in front of him. Name, he says. You give it. Your voice is hoarse, almost unrecognizable even to yourself. Distance. You tell him. He lifts one eyebrow, finally glancing up. You made good time. I need water, you whisper. He waves you off. Sit. Wait for the captain. So you sit. Your muscles twitch involuntarily. Your fingers keep flexing, opening and closing around invisible reins. The station is a stone building, cool inside, but the air still reeks of sweat, dust, and fear. Other messengers sit slumped against the walls. One is crying quietly, pressing his hands over his face. Another stares straight ahead, lips moving as if reciting prayers. Near the door, two soldiers argue about a rider who disappeared 3 days ago. One says bandits took him. The other says he simply vanished into the desert, leaving his horse and clothes behind. Desert spirits, the first soldier mutters. They take men who ride too far, too fast. Spirits? The other scoffs. He just cracked, lost his mind, like all of them eventually do. The words crawl under your skin. You've heard the stories. Messengers riding alone at night who start seeing shapes in the dunes, who claim they hear voices whispering from the rocks. Some say it's the gods testing loyalty. Others believe it's the souls of dead messengers calling the living to join them. A door bangs open. A captain strides in, flanked by 2 guards. He's young, with sharp eyes and a long scar down his cheek. His bronze breastplate glints in the lamplight. He points at you. You, come. Your legs feel like wet clay as you rise. The captain leads you into a smaller chamber, sparsely furnished. A single oil lamp flickers. There's a smell in here, something acrid, almost metallic. He gestures for you to sit. He stays standing, arms crossed over his chest. You're the one who brought the message from Susa? Yes, sir. He squints. Did you read it? No, sir. Did you speak to anyone about your route or your orders? You shake your head. He studies you for a long moment. Then his expression softens, barely. You're fast. faster than most. The king needs riders like you. You swallow. Your lips are cracked. My horse died. The captain waves a dismissive hand. Horses can be replaced. But the roads are dangerous. I've been attacked twice. I barely. His hand shoots out and grabs your tunic. He yanks you forward until his face is inches from yours. Listen to me, he hisses. This empire only survives because men like you keep secrets moving. Our enemies would burn half Persia to the ground if they could. You think your fear matters to the king? You're a tool, a moving piece. And if you break, he lets you go, brushing invisible dust from his hands. We'll find another, or we'll feed your body to the jackals. Do you understand? Your breath rattles in your chest. Yes, sir. He nods. Good. He calls for a soldier. Get him water and a new horse. He rides again at dawn. Your vision swims. You want to collapse right there. But the captain is already turning away, barking orders to his men. A soldier hands you a cup. The water tastes brackish but cold. You drink greedily, not caring that it smells faintly of mud. Later, as you stumble toward a pallet in the corner, you hear the captain say to another officer, "He's good, but if he falters, kill him. No loose ends." You lie there in the dark, the words echoing through your skull. You drift into sleep, but it's not restful. You dream of galloping horses, their hooves splashing through rivers of blood. You see scrolls unwinding into snakes. Faces loom out of the dark. Your family, your friends, even the overseer who first trained you, each whispering, "Run, run, run." But there's nowhere to go. When you wake, dawn has barely begun to stain the horizon. You're pulled upright by two soldiers who barely acknowledge you as they shove you outside. Your new horse is a tall, black mare with wild eyes. She stomps the ground as they saddle her. The captain hands you a new scroll, sealed with the king's sigil. He looks you straight in the eyes. North again. Avoid the lower passes. Bandits have been sighted. If you're captured, he holds up two fingers, then slices them across his own throat. You nod. Your insides feel hollow. The captain leans closer. Remember, you're the king's voice. Nothing else matters. And then you're off again. The wind claws at your face. Your tunic flaps around your ribs. Dust flies up in spirals. Hours pass. The sun rises and keeps rising until it's directly overhead, pressing down like a weight. As you ride, you start to feel like you're part of the road itself. A thing without identity, without past or future. Only speed and silence. At one point, you see a body hanging from a wooden post at the edge of a field. A sign hangs around his neck, written in Greek. Traitor. He spoke of the king's letters. The body twists slowly in the breeze. Birds flap away as you pass. Further on, you meet another messenger. He's pale, trembling, clutching his horse's reins like a lifeline. His lips are cracked and bleeding. "They're killing them," he whispers. "The villagers, women, children. They say it's the king's orders. They say the message we carry started it." Your mouth goes dry. "We don't ask questions. We just deliver." But the other messenger shakes his head wildly. "It's not just bandits anymore. It's the king's soldiers, killing whole villages because someone whispered about rebellion. They're looking for lists, names, anyone who might be plotting." He grips your arm. "Tell me, do you ever wonder if we're the real murderers?" You pull away. "We're messengers, nothing more." But your voice cracks on the last word. He laughs, a high, broken sound. "That's what they want us to believe." Then he rides away south, eyes darting like a hunted animal's. The sun sinks lower, and shadows stretch across the road. You stop at a relay post where the guards check your scroll. One of them looks at you and murmurs, "Don't take the river road. They're finding heads floating there." You stare at him. "Heads?" He nods. "Bandits? Rebels? Who knows? The empire's falling apart. But keep riding, messenger. That's all any of us can do." Night falls and the wind grows colder. You ride under stars sharp as needles. Your body feels like it's carved from wood. In the distance, you see torchlight flickering on a hillside. You veer away, fearing an ambush. Eventually, you reach a small village where soldiers hustle you into a stone building. Inside, a minor noble reads your scroll. His face blanches as he scans the lines. He waves you closer. "Did anyone see you?" "No, my lord." He stares at the message. This is death. This order will wipe out half the valley. They'll slaughter everyone. And for what? A rumor. You stand there silent. You're too exhausted to react. The noble crushes the scroll in his fist. "The king uses us like knives in the dark. He thinks the empire will survive through fear. But fear is like fire. It consumes everything." He looks at you, eyes glittering. You know they'll kill you eventually. You're a secret too dangerous to live. You say nothing, because you already know it's true. He sighs. "Go, ride, before my loyalty wavers." So you ride again, and somewhere between 1 mile marker and the next, you realize that the road owns you now. You'll never go home. You'll never be anything except the man carrying the king's words. And the worst part, the part that guts you, is that you don't even know whether those words bring justice or ruin. The stars overhead seem impossibly far away. You wonder if any of them remember your name, and you keep riding, because if you stop, the empire will swallow you whole. Your horse's breath steams in the cold dawn air, white as smoke from a funeral pyre. You ride with your head down, eyes fixed on the road, but your mind can't stop replaying the noble's words. Fear is like fire. It consumes everything. You wonder if he's already dead for speaking them. The landscape changes as you press northward. The flat plains give way to rolling hills, scattered with boulders as big as wagons. Juniper trees stand twisted by the wind. Birds will overhead, their cries shrill and mournful. You pass shepherds huddled in thick cloaks, who stare at you with blank suspicion as you thunder by. Each mile feels longer than the last. Your thighs are raw from the saddle. Your knees ache like they've been filled with sand. Your back burns with a constant throb. You keep your eyes sharp, scanning every ridge and hollow for movement. At a narrow defile between cliffs, you pull up suddenly. Ahead, a group of soldiers blocks the road. Their shields glint in the pale sun. One steps forward, lifting a spear. "Halt!" he commands. "Who rides the king's road?" You raise your hand, showing the sealed scroll. "Messenger of the king." The soldier studies you, then gestures you forward. As you approach, you see their armor is battered, streaked with dried mud and something darker. Blood, perhaps. The officer, a tall man with a thick beard, leans close. His eyes are bloodshot. "Where do you ride from?" "Susa." His eyebrows go up. "Long way. You carry messages of war." You hesitate. "I carry only what I'm ordered to deliver." He grunts. "A safe answer." He gestures behind him. "Ride carefully, rider. This road runs red lately." As you move past them, you catch a glimpse of what lies beyond. Bodies hang from wooden crosses, swaying in the wind. Men, women, a child no older than 10. Ravens cluster on the beams, tearing strips of flesh. You stare, unable to look away. One of the soldiers mutters, "Traitors, or maybe just unlucky." The wind carries the smell of rot into your nostrils, and you gag, nearly falling from your saddle. You spur your horse on, desperate to leave the horror behind. But you know the memory will ride with you forever. By mid-morning, the terrain turns rough. Your horse stumbles on loose stones, nearly pitching you forward. You dismount and walk for a while, leading the animal by the reins. The sun feels cold, a distant silver coin in a sky that's turning gray. The road dips into a shallow valley where a river curls like a serpent. You pause, studying the bridge ahead. 2 men stand guard, dressed in Persian uniforms, but something about them feels wrong. Their armor doesn't fit properly. Their beards look hastily trimmed. One raises a hand. "Toll for the bridge, rider." "There is no toll on the king's road," you say sharply. The man smiles. "There is today." You notice his hand resting lightly on the hilt of his sword. The other man edges closer, eyes glinting. Slowly, you reach for the pouch at your side, as if searching for coins. Instead, you pull a dagger free, whipping it across the throat of the man nearest you. Blood sprays across the wooden planks of the bridge. The second man lunges, but you slam your knee into his groin, then drive the dagger into his ribs. He collapses with a wet gasp. You stand there panting, staring at the two bodies. Your hands are slick with blood. For a moment, you feel nothing, just a cold emptiness spreading through your chest. Then you wipe your blade clean on the dead man's cloak, mount your horse, and ride on without looking back. Hours later, the road narrows between steep cliffs. A sudden rustling makes you jerk your head to the side. A man steps out from behind a rock, holding a bow. "Stop," he says. "Drop your reins." Your pulse pounds in your temples. You see others emerging from the shadows. 4, 5, 6 men, all with weapons drawn. Bandits. The leader approaches, a lean man with scars crisscrossing his cheeks. He stares at you. "You carry messages?" You nod. He extends a hand. "Give me the scroll." "I can't." He tilts his head. "Why die for words you've never read?" You say nothing. The bandit sighs. "Then you'll die for them." Suddenly there's a shout from behind you. A troop of Persian cavalry bursts onto the road, lances lowered. The bandits scatter. 2 fall under hooves, screaming. The rest vanish into the rocks. The captain reins in beside you, breathing hard. "You're lucky, messenger," he says. "They've been hunting riders for days, killing some, selling others to the Greeks." He looks at the scroll pouch strapped to your chest. "Whatever you carry, it must be important." You meet his gaze. "Important enough to die for." The captain nods solemnly. "Ride safe," he says, "if there's such a thing anymore." He wheels his horse around, leading his men back down the road. You watch them go, dust swirling in their wake. By sunset, you find a small shrine beside the road. A crumbling statue of Ahura Mazda stands watch, eyes blank, arms lifted in eternal benediction. You kneel before it, lips moving in silent prayer. But you're not sure what you're praying for anymore. As night falls, the wind howls between the rocks like a chorus of wailing ghosts. You build a small fire, crouching close for warmth. Shadows dance around you. Somewhere beyond the flickering glow, you hear footsteps crunching on gravel. You freeze, dagger in hand. A voice calls softly, "Messenger." A figure steps into the light. A woman, draped in a cloak the color of dusk. Her hair is dark, eyes sharp as obsidian. She studies you with an intensity that makes you shift uncomfortably. "Who are you?" you demand. She doesn't answer. Instead, she says, "You carry death in that pouch." You tighten your grip on your dagger. "Who sent you?" She kneels beside the fire, her fingers brushing the flames as if testing their heat. "Do you know what message you carry?" she asks. "No." She smiles faintly. "But you suspect, don't you?" You say nothing. She leans closer, voice dropping to a whisper. "Cities will burn because of the words you carry. Blood will soak the roads. And when the king no longer needs you, he will erase you. Just like all the others." You swallow hard. "What do you want from me?" She regards you for a long moment. Then she says, "Remember this. Empires fall from within. Secrets are the blades that cut the deepest." She rises, pulling her cloak around her. In 3 steps, she vanishes into the darkness. You stare after her, trembling. You don't know if she was real, or just a shape conjured by exhaustion and fear. But her words keep echoing in your head. You sleep badly. Your dreams are full of flames and the sound of hoofbeats pounding like war drums. At dawn, you break camp and ride on. In the next village, you find chaos. Houses are burning. People scream in the streets. Soldiers drag men out of their homes, beating them bloody. A Persian officer grabs you as you dismount. His eyes are wild. "You? Where's your message?" You show him the scroll. He snatches it, breaks the seal, scans it, and curses viciously. "This village harbored rebels. Orders are to cleanse it." "Cleanse it?" You whisper. "By fire," he snaps. "No survivors." You stagger back. The officer waves his sword, screaming at his men. Soldiers pour oil onto roofs. Flames bloom in every direction. Women wail. Children run sobbing through the smoke. You stand there, the acrid stink of burning thatch filling your nostrils. A man collapses at your feet, blood pouring from his mouth. He grabs your tunic. "Please, help us." But the officer shoves you aside. "Ride on, messenger," he barks. "Unless you want to burn too." Your mind reels as you mount your horse. You ride away, but the screams chase you long after the village disappears behind a veil of black smoke. Hours later, you reach a ridge overlooking a wide plain. Below, Persian troops are assembling, thousands of soldiers, chariots glinting in the sun, banners snapping in the wind. A general sits on horseback, studying the horizon through a polished bronze disc. He turns as you approach. "You have orders for me?" You hand him the scroll. He reads quickly, face hardening. "So it's true," he mutters. "They want the valley purged. All villages burned. Fields salted. No quarter." He looks at you, eyes filled with weariness. "Do you know why they send messengers like you?" You shake your head. "Because if the king sent nobles to carry these orders, they'd refuse. They'd question. They'd rebel. But messengers carry death and never ask why." He hands back the empty scroll case. "Go. You've done your duty." But as you ride away, you hear him shouting orders. Soldiers form into columns. Drums beat. You feel like you're leaving behind part of your soul on that ridge. At the next station, the scribe logs your arrival. He barely glances up from his tablet. "Another message ready," he says. "South this time." You shake your head violently. "I can't. I need rest." He gives you a flat look. "Rest is for the dead. You're not dead yet." He thrusts a new scroll into your hand. You ride at dawn. You want to scream. Instead, you stagger into the corner, slide down the wall, and close your eyes. But sleep doesn't come. You just sit there, heartbeat thundering in your chest, listening to the endless scratching of the scribe's stylus against wax. The empire demands silence and obedience, but inside you, something has begun to splinter. You think of the villages burning, of the woman in the cloak, of the general who told you the truth. And for the first time since your journey began, you wonder if carrying the king's words is truly worth dying for. You leave the relay station before dawn, your horse's hoofs thudding on frozen ground. Your breath mists before your face like smoke rising from an altar. The new scroll burns against your chest, though it weighs almost nothing. Every turn of the road feels haunted. In the distance, you glimpse dark shapes prowling the ridges. Wolves, perhaps, or worse. The air is sharp, full of pine resin and the copper tang of old blood. Hours pass in silence, except for the wind whispering through the dry grass. You try not to think about the faces you saw in flames. The dying man gripping your tunic. The child sobbing under the shadow of a burning roof. Instead, you recite the words the temple priests taught you as a boy. Prayers meant to ward off demons. Asa Ahura Mazda, protector of truth, shield my path from lies. But your voice sounds thin, even to your own ears. By midday, you reach a crossroads where a single pillar of stone stands carved with cuneiform. It's stained dark in places, as if rain couldn't wash away the memories of countless executions carried out here. You rein in your horse, heart hammering. On the stone, someone has freshly painted a symbol in red pigment, a dagger piercing a circle. You don't know the meaning, but it chills you all the same. You ride on. Soon the road curves along the banks of a wide river, its water running fast and dark as oil. The bridge ahead is intact, but as you approach, a group of horsemen emerges from the trees. They wear Persian cloaks, but their faces are hidden beneath linen scarves. The leader raises a hand. "Traveler," he calls, "stop and dismount." Your gut clenches. "I'm a royal messenger," you say. "So you are," he replies. "All the more reason to speak with you." He gestures, and his men fan out around you. You glance at their weapons, fine bronze swords, arrows with iron tips. Not bandits, professionals. The leader comes closer, lowering his scarf. His eyes are dark, intense, like embers under ashes. You carry a message? You tighten your grip on the reins. Yes. Then listen well. He leans forward. The king believes he rules by divine will, but gods can fall. Empires rot from within. A single word in the right ear can bring down a throne. Your throat goes dry. Who are you? He smiles faintly. We are those who remember freedom. He reaches toward your saddlebag, and you slap his hand away. Instantly 2 blades flash. One presses against your ribs, cold as ice. Do not be foolish, the leader says softly. We don't want your life, only your message. You shake your head. I can't, he sighs. So be it. He nods to his men. The one holding the blade withdraws it reluctantly. Ride on, the leader says. But remember, kings die. Ideas do not. They melt back into the trees as quickly as they appeared, leaving you shaking, your heart pounding in your skull. When you finally cross the bridge, your hands are trembling so hard you almost drop the reins. As evening falls, you reach a caravan camped by the roadside. Merchants tending camels, pots bubbling over fires. Music drifts on the air, soft as silk. A merchant waves you over. He's fat, cheerful, wearing rings on every finger. Sit, rider. Eat something hot. You look half dead. You dismount stiffly. Your body aches. Your bones feel older than mountains. The merchant ladles thick stew into a wooden bowl. From Babylon, he says. Spices worth more than silver. The smell makes your stomach cramp with sudden hunger. You devour the stew, barely tasting it. The merchant watches you thoughtfully. Where do you ride from? Susa. He whistles. A long road. Dangerous now. Too many soldiers. Too many secrets. You nod, wiping your mouth. Have you heard rumors of revolt? The merchant leans closer. I hear many things. That the Egyptians curse the king in their temples. That the Greeks plot alliances. That men vanish in the night if they speak too freely. He lowers his voice. But most of all, I hear that even the nobles whisper that the king grows cruel. That he listens only to those who feed his fear. You stare into your empty bowl. The fire crackles. Somewhere, a camel brays like a soul in torment. The merchant pats your shoulder. Ride safe, friend. The road eats men whole these days. You sleep near the caravan, wrapped in your cloak. Dreams chase you like wild dogs. In one dream, you're standing in a throne room of marble and gold. The king sits on his high seat, eyes burning like twin suns. He raises his hand, and the headsman steps forward with a curved blade. Speak, the king commands, but you have no words. Only blood drips from your mouth. You wake gasping, clutching your chest. The stars blaze above you, cold and indifferent. At dawn, you ride on. The next town is nothing but smoking rubble. Houses toppled. Livestock wandering loose, eyes rolling with terror. A lone woman sits beside the well, rocking back and forth, hair matted with blood. She looks up at you and whispers, "They came at night. Soldiers or devils." You can't speak. You just ride past, feeling the weight of 1,000 unseen eyes watching you from burned-out doorways. By noon, you're crossing a vast plain shimmering under the sun. Dust hangs in the air like gauze. You glimpse lines of refugees trudging south. Families carrying bundles, faces hollow. A boy runs up beside your horse, eyes huge. "Water?" he pleads. You hesitate, then reach for your flask. Before you can hand it to him, a Persian soldier rushes over, striking the boy with the flat of his spear. "Keep moving," he snarls. "No one speaks to the king's messengers." He glares at you. "Ride on." You swallow your protest and spur your horse forward. Behind you, the boy lies in the dust, sobbing. In the next city, soldiers bar the gates. The officer in charge peers at your seal, frowning. "No one allowed in or out," he snaps. "I have royal dispatches." He scowls. "Everyone says that." He signals 2 men to search you. They rifle through your bags, roughly patting you down. When they find the scroll, they draw back as if it were a snake. "Pass," the officer finally grunts. "But hurry, there's plague inside." The gates creak open. You enter the city to the stench of death. Bodies lie stacked near temple walls, shrouded in linen. Fires burn night and day to keep away the smell. You cover your mouth with a strip of cloth, eyes watering. The streets are silent. Doors are barred. Even dogs slink away, tails between their legs. At a small square, you see a priest chanting prayers over a pit where bodies are tossed like refuse. Ash drifts through the air. You stop him. Where's the satrap's palace? He points with trembling fingers. North Wall. If he still lives. You ride on, passing a woman who stands screaming in the road, tearing her hair. No one dares approach her. The palace gates stand open, guards lying dead across the threshold. Inside, the courtyard is littered with broken pottery, spilled wine, a few corpses. In the main hall, you find the satrap slumped on his throne. His skin is pale as parchment. Dark sores cover his neck. His breath rattles in his chest. He lifts sunken eyes to you. You bring orders? You nod, handing him the scroll. He fumbles it open, reads a few lines, then begins to laugh. A dry, hollow sound that echoes off marble walls. Burn the city. Kill the infected. Salt the earth. The king would rather rule ashes than risk rebellion. He coughs, blood spattering his lips. Go, he croaks. Leave this place. Tell the king. He rules ghosts. He collapses sideways, eyes staring sightless at the ceiling. You stagger from the palace, bile rising in your throat. Outside, black smoke coils into the sky. As you ride away, you wonder if the empire is already dead and simply doesn't know it yet. Your next destination takes you through a dense cedar forest. Sunlight filters green and gold through the canopy. For a moment, it's almost peaceful. Birds sing overhead. A squirrel scampers across the path. Then the tranquility shatters. A group of soldiers bursts onto the road, dragging prisoners behind them. Women, old men, a boy with blood crusted on his face. The officer orders them lined up against a tree. One prisoner locks eyes with you. A man in fine robes, face bruised but dignified. You messenger, he gasps. Tell the king the truth. The people starve. The soldiers steal. The temples are silent. The empire rots. The officer raises his sword. Silence. The man tries to speak again. The sword flashes down. His head falls into the grass. You swallow hard, trying not to be sick. The officer wipes his blade and turns to you. Move along, rider, unless you want to join them. You nod numbly and ride on, leaving the cedar grove echoing with silence. That night, you reach a high mountain pass. The air is thin, your breath coming in ragged gasps. Snow lies in patches among the rocks. You huddle near a small fire, staring at the stars. They look close enough to touch and utterly indifferent. You think about the king's words carved over palace doors. I am the light of the world. My will is the law of the earth. You wonder if even he believes them anymore. As dawn breaks, you begin your descent. The road twists and plunges through narrow defile. Below you lies a broad plain, dotted with campfires. An army gathering. Trumpets wail in the distance. Drums pound like a heartbeat. You steel yourself and ride on, clutching the message that will decide who lives and who dies. But inside, something has shifted. You are no longer certain whose side you're on. The road spills out of the mountain pass onto the plain like a vein of iron. Ahead lies the encampment of the great king's army. Even from this distance, you can see the banners snapping in the wind, each dyed the royal purple and stitched with golden lions. The plain teems with motion. Cavalry drills in tight formations. Engineers hammer stakes into the ground for palisades. Oxen groan under the weight of siege engines taller than houses. The scale is monstrous, as though a city has been uprooted and planted here, breathing, shifting, alive. You pause at the ridge, your horse snorting clouds of steam. Part of you wants to turn and gallop the other way, to vanish into the hills, to forget you ever carried the king's words across the empire. But you ride on. At the first checkpoint, two spearmen halt you. One wears bronze scale armor polished to mirror brightness. His face is young, but his eyes are as cold as a drawn blade. "State your purpose," he snaps. "Royal messenger," you say, "with dispatches from the satrap of Susa." He squints at the seal you hold out. Then he gestures. "Proceed. Do not deviate, and do not speak to anyone." As you pass through the outer lines, the scale of the army unfolds around you. Thousands of tents, billowing in rows as straight as temple columns. Cooking fires smoke like sacrificial altars. Horses stamp and scream in their paddocks. But what strikes you most is the silence between sounds. Soldiers speak in hushed voices, as though afraid the wind might carry their words to enemy ears. You ride deeper, heart pounding. An officer intercepts you near the royal pavilions. He wears a high tiara, the symbol of a commander. "Messenger," he says, "dismount." You obey. Your legs shake as you hit the ground. Dust rises around your boots. The officer beckons two guards. They pat you down with impersonal efficiency, searching for hidden blades, scrolls, poisons. When they find nothing but your official dispatch, the officer grunts. "Come. The king will see you." Your breath freezes in your lungs. He leads you past lines of immortals, the royal guard. They stand motionless, shields shining under the sun, faces hidden behind woven veils. Not even their eyes move as you pass. At last, you arrive at the great king's tent. It's vast, a fortress of silk and gold, rising 3 times the height of a man. Tassels flutter in the breeze like tongues whispering secrets. Inside, braziers burn scented oils. Light glitters off silver dishes heaped with dates, pomegranates, roasted meat. But the center of the tent is dominated by one figure, the King of Kings. He sits upon a throne of ebony inlaid with ivory and lapis. His beard is black and curled into perfect ringlets. A golden crown rests on his head like a halo of flame. His eyes, dark, deep, unreadable, lock onto yours. Every instinct screams at you to prostrate yourself, forehead to earth. The officer kneels. "Majesty, the messenger from Susa." The king gestures faintly. "Approach." You force your feet to move, stopping a few paces away. Your knees want to buckle. "Your name?" the king asks. His voice is soft, but it cuts like a knife. You speak your name, voice trembling. He studies you for a long moment. "You have come far." "Yes, my lord." "Your message." You produce the scroll, hands shaking. A scribe steps forward to receive it, breaking the seal with a small silver knife. He begins to read in a rapid monotone. The king raises a hand, and the scribe falls silent. He fixes you with his gaze. "Tell me, what did you see on your journey?" A chill skates down your spine. I saw burned villages, refugees on the road, people starving. "And the soldiers?" They keep order, Majesty. But there is fear, everywhere." He tilts his head. "Fear of whom?" Of your Majesty's justice," you stammer. "And of rebellion." A ripple of silence spreads through the tent. Even the braziers seem to burn lower. The king leans forward slightly. A king who is loved is vulnerable. A king who is feared is safe. He lifts his hand, inspecting his rings. Each is carved with the seal of a conquered nation. "Tell me, do you think my empire can be held together by love alone?" Your mouth goes dry. You force words out. "No, Majesty." He leans back. "Good. You have seen truth. Many do not." He glances at his general. "Send orders to the satraps. Increase patrols along the western roads. Execute anyone caught speaking sedition." The general bows. The king turns back to you. "You have done well. Rest. Eat. Tomorrow you will carry another message. To Babylon." Your gut sinks. The road stretches out before you like a blade. But you bow. "Yes, Majesty." The king waves you away. You back out of the tent, heart pounding. Outside, the air feels cooler, as though you've surfaced from underwater. A servant brings you food and wine. You eat automatically, though each bite tastes like ashes. As night falls, drums begin to pound at the camp's edges. Fires blaze, casting long shadows across the tents. You hear singing low, rhythmic, like a chant rising from the earth itself. Soldiers dance around fires, stamping their feet, shouting invocations to Ahura Mazda. Above, the stars wheel in silent procession. In your tent, you try to sleep, but visions crowd your mind. You see cities burning, heads rolling in dust, scrolls sealed with blood. You hear the king's voice echoing in your skull. A king who is feared is safe. And you wonder, is this empire truly held together, or is it already falling apart? The next morning dawns pale and cold. Frost rims the canvas of your tent. A servant wakes you before sunrise, pressing a new sealed scroll into your hand. To Babylon, the officer says. No delays. You mount your horse, exhausted. Every muscle screams. Your lips are cracked from dust and wind. The army is breaking camp, the ground shaking as soldiers march in ordered columns. Drums pound a rhythm like a dying heartbeat. You ride away, the wind tearing at your cloak. Soon the plain falls behind. You enter a region of broken hills, slopes scarred with ancient quarries. A lonely road twists through ravines where shadows gather like conspirators. At one bend, you find a merchant caravan stopped in the middle of the track. Camels bawl nervously. Men shout. A single cart lies overturned. Blood spatters the ground. You dismount cautiously. What happened? A merchant wrings his hands. Raiders. They took my gold. Killed my guards. He points to the hills. They watch us still. You scan the ridgelines. Shapes move against the skyline. Shadows. Possibly men. Possibly ghosts. Ride on. The merchant begs. Don't linger. They'll come back. You nod grimly and press forward. Not half a mile further. An arrow hisses past your ear. Thunks into a tree, quivering. You spur your horse. The path descends sharply, rocks rattling under hooves. More arrows whistle. One strikes your saddlebag, ripping it open. Papers scatter like white birds. You clutch the sealed scroll against your chest and ride for your life. The road bursts into open scrubland. No cover. You whip your horse mercilessly, legs slick with sweat and dust. The raiders fall behind. By dusk, you reach a ruined watchtower beside a dry riverbed. You tie your horse, collapse behind broken stone. Your chest heaves. Your hands shake uncontrollably. The empire feels endless, yet so small too, like a handful of sand slipping through the king's fingers. You sleep with one eye open, scroll clutched like a lifeline. In dreams, you hear distant chanting. A voice saying, "Ideas do not die." Next morning, the desert stretches ahead, shimmering under the rising sun. Waves of heat blur the horizon. By midday, your water is almost gone. You ration your last swallows, tongue thick and dry. Buzzards circle overhead, drifting on invisible currents. You reach a small oasis, green palms clustered around a pool. But as you approach, you see men lying sprawled in the shade, dead. Flies crawling over swollen faces. You fight down panic. Force yourself to fill your flask from the pool's far side. The water tastes bitter, metallic. Your stomach clenches in warning. But you drink anyway. At sunset, you crest a ridge. Babylon sprawls before you, colossal, magnificent. A city of towers and canals and glittering walls. Smoke rises from hundreds of hearths. The river Euphrates glitters like molten glass under the dying light. For a moment, hope flickers in your chest. Civilization, safety. But as you draw closer, you see soldiers gathered at the gates. Barricades of carts and sharpened stakes. The city is under lockdown. At the checkpoint, an officer peers at your scroll. Another royal message? He spits into the dust. Well, getting quickly. Rebellion's brewing. The king wants heads. Inside the walls, chaos seethes. Crowds jostle in the streets, shouting in dozens of languages. Merchants scream over each other. Armed men patrol every corner. At the palace gates, a priest stops you. His robe is crimson, eyes dark as obsidian. "Messenger," he says, "do you know the burden you carry?" You frown. "I carry only the king's words." The priest smiles sadly. "Words can kill empires." He steps aside. "Go." Babylon waits. You cross the palace threshold into cool shadows. Gold gleams on pillars. Peacocks cry from hidden courtyards. A eunuch leads you to a chamber hung with blue silk. There, the satrap of Babylon paces, face taut with strain. He snatches the scroll from your hands, breaks the seal, scans the text. He slams it down. The king commands new levies of soldiers, more taxes, arrests for anyone who questions his rule. He stares at you, eyes wild. Does he not see this city is a powder keg? One spark and it all burns. He presses his fingers to his temples. Go, rest. I must think. You back out, throat tight. Outside, the sun sets in blood across Babylon's brick towers. You wonder if you've just delivered the king's death warrant. Or the empire's. At dawn, the palace of Babylon trembles as drums boom across the courtyards. The sun climbs red and swollen above the city walls, casting long bars of light through lattice screens. You rise from a thin pallet, bones aching, mouth raw with thirst. Outside, soldiers bark orders, their voices sharp as knife edges. A eunuch appears, silent as a shadow. He gestures for you to follow. He leads you through cool marble halls where mosaics shimmer under flickering torchlight. Columns tower overhead, painted with scenes of ancient victories. Lions pounce across glazed tiles. Archers loose arrows into clouds of enemy bodies. Your footsteps echo like whispers of conspiracy. At last, you're brought into a narrow chamber where the satrap stands hunched over a map. His hair is unbound, his robe half open, as though he's forgotten what dignity means. He looks up, eyes burning. I have written my reply to the king, he says. You will carry it. He holds out a scroll sealed with black wax. The sigil is the Lion of Babylon. Your fingers tremble as you accept it. Take this, the satrap says, voice ragged. Ride day and night. Give it only to the king's own hand. No one else. You nod mutely. The satrap grips your arm. His fingers dig bruises into your flesh. If they catch you, he whispers, eat the scroll. Understand. A cold weight settles in your gut. You've carried hundreds of messages for the king, but never one you were told to die for. You bow low. I will do as commanded. The satrap releases you, staring past you into shadows. Go, before this city explodes. Outside, chaos brews like a gathering storm. Crowds fill the streets, pressing shoulder to shoulder. Rumors swirl faster than dust. A woman screams that the gods have abandoned the empire. A man bellows that taxes are strangling the city. Militiamen shove people back with spear butts. Traders slam shut their shop doors. Somewhere, a voice chants, the empire bleeds. The empire dies. You push through the throng, clutching the scroll to your chest. Near the city gates, a squad of soldiers stops you. Their captain wears a bronze helmet crested with horsehair. He eyes you coldly. Royal messenger? Yes. Open your satchel. You hesitate, knuckles white around the leather strap. Now! Slowly, you loosen the flap. The captain peers in, searching for hidden blades or secret letters. He's about to reach for the scroll. From behind him, another officer calls out, Leave him. We have rioters at the east wall. The captain curses and waves you on. Go, and pray Babylon still stands when you return. You slip out the gates into the blazing sun. Beyond the walls, the land stretches empty under a sky like hammered brass. Wind carries the smell of dust and dry grass. You ride hard, each hoofbeat punching through your chest. But even as you gallop, dread curls tighter inside you. You wonder what words the satrap dared to write, what truths so dangerous they might cost you your life. By dusk, you've reached the river crossing. The Euphrates rolls black and glassy under the stars. A wooden ferry sways on its ropes. The ferryman squints at you. Night travels cursed. Bad spirits in the water. I'll pay double, you rasp. He hesitates, eyes darting over your royal cloak. Then he shrugs and gestures you aboard. The ferry groans as it drifts into the current. Water slaps the hull. Overhead, stars glitter like icy spears. Halfway across, a shape emerges on the far bank. Torches flicker. Steel glints. Soldiers, waiting, Your pulse hammers. The ferryman grunts. Trouble. You don't answer. Your fingers close around the scroll, as though you might crush it into dust. When the ferry touches shore, soldiers step forward. Their leader wears a breastplate chased with silver. His face is hawk-like, nose sharp as a blade. Messenger, he barks. State your business. Royal dispatch, you manage. From Babylon. To whom? To the king alone. The officer narrows his eyes. Then you'll ride with us. The road's not safe for one man. Panic twists your gut. If they escort you, they might demand to read the message. I'm under orders to travel alone. The officer snorts. Not anymore. He gestures. 2 soldiers seize your bridle, turning your horse toward their column. You have no choice. They ride through the night, torches bobbing in the dark. Shadows loom between trees like cloaked figures whispering secrets. At dawn, the column halts to water the horses. You slip away to piss in the bushes, your mind racing. Eat the scroll. The satrap's words echo in your skull. Eat the scroll. But you can't do it. Not yet. Not unless you're caught. When the officer isn't looking, you slip the scroll into a hidden fold inside your tunic. The official satchel stays empty. When the officer demands to inspect your bag, he finds only blank parchment and a sealed order from weeks ago. He grunts and waves you back into line. All day you ride with the soldiers. Dust stings your eyes. Sweat soaks your cloak. By evening, you glimpse a plume of smoke on the horizon. The officer calls a halt. A village smolders ahead, huts reduced to blackened skeletons. Chickens flutter among charred timbers. Bodies lie sprawled in the dirt, throats cut. The officer mutters, bandits or rebels. He orders the men to search the ruins. You stand apart, bile rising in your throat. Among the corpses, a child's hand protrudes from a heap of ash, fingers curled, as if clutching for help. The officer comes to you, wiping blood from his blade. This empire's falling apart, he says. You should pray the king lives forever, because if he dies, he trails off, eyes distant. Then he shoves you toward your horse. Mount up. We keep moving. That night, they make camp beside a dry riverbed. You lie awake under a sky burning with stars. From nearby fires come murmurs of soldiers speaking in low tones. Cities rebelling. Rumors the Greeks are gathering armies again. The king grows mad. Every word tightens the noose around your ribs. At some point you drift into uneasy sleep. You dream of the king's face, eyes glimmering with cold intelligence. Fear is loyalty, he whispers. Loyalty keeps my empire alive. You jolt awake. Sweat drenches your tunic. Beside you, soldiers snore in their cloaks. Slowly, you slip from your blanket, moving like a ghost. You creep to where your horse is tied. Its ears flick as you approach. You untie the reins, leading it silently into the dark. When you're 50 paces from camp, you vault into the saddle and dig in your heels. The horse leaps forward. Rocks fly under pounding hooves. Behind you, shouts rise. A horn blares. You ride into the blackness. All night you race, praying the stars guide you. By dawn, your horse is lathered and trembling. But you keep going. Hours pass. The sun rises cruel and hot. Dust hangs like fog. At noon, you spot a caravan ahead. Traders, guards, wagons piled high with amphorae and bolts of cloth. As you approach, the caravan master raises a hand. Messenger, he calls. The road ahead is closed. Troops blocking the pass. No one gets through. Your heart sinks. Which troops? Soldiers from Persepolis. They say the king's orders. Panic claws at your chest. If the soldiers at the pass search you, the message will be found. You feign casualness. Perhaps I'll try another road. The caravan master shrugs. Good luck. The empire's turning to dust. You spur your horse into the scrubland, seeking a lesser track over the mountains. The trail you find is little more than goat path, winding between jagged rocks. Every step risks a broken leg for your horse. By nightfall, you've climbed into clouds. Cold bites your cheeks. Your breath steams. You make camp under a rock ledge, the scroll pressed against your chest beneath your cloak. Sleep comes fitful. Dreams snarl through your mind. You see the king, alone on his throne, shadows gathering behind him. You see cities burning like torches. And always you hear a single sentence. Ideas do not die. Next day, the path descends into forest. Pines drip with mist. Birds scream among the branches. You ride cautiously, eyes sweeping the undergrowth. A sudden rustle snaps your head around. A man steps from the trees, bow half-drawn. His beard is black, eyes hard as river stones. Dismount. You freeze. For more men emerge behind him, blades glinting. Rebels. Royal messenger, you say quickly. I have nothing of value. The leader laughs. Everything a king owns has value. He gestures. 2 rebels frisk you. They rip open your satchel. They find only blank parchment. The leader squints. No message. You shake your head. Nothing. The rebel searches your gaze. His eyes narrow. Then he grabs your tunic and feels the scroll hidden beneath. He rips it free, eyes going wide as he sees the black seal of Babylon. A royal dispatch, he hisses. To the king himself. Your blood goes cold. The rebel raises a dagger. For this, you die. You lunge. Instinct, terror, raw survival. You grab his wrist, twisting. The blade slices your palm, hot blood spraying. He shouts. His men rush forward. You shove the rebel backward, slam your fist into his face. He stumbles. Another man lunges, knife flashing. You duck under the swing, snatch the scroll from the rebel's grip. And you run. Branches claw your face. Rocks tear your sandals. Arrows whiz past, thudding into tree trunks. You burst into a clearing, chest burning. Your horse stands tethered where you left it. You vault into the saddle and dig your heels. Behind you, the rebels roar. But you're gone, pounding deeper into the forest. Hours later, you emerge onto a wide road. The sun sinks, bleeding crimson into the horizon. Dust glows in the dying light. Ahead, you see the walls of Persepolis rising like mountains. Towers gleam gold and marble white. The city waits, and somewhere within, the king waits too. You clutch the scroll tighter, and you wonder, if you deliver these words, will you save an empire, or help bury it forever? Dust swirls around your horse's hooves as you approach Persepolis. The city gates tower before you, carved with lions and kings, each figure staring down as if weighing your soul. Guards stand at the entrance, bronze-tipped spears crossed. Their eyes flick over your stained cloak, your blood-crusted hands, the terror still trembling beneath your skin. Halt! One shouts. State your business. You swallow hard, voice cracking. Royal messenger. From Babylon. The other guard narrows his eyes. Where is your escort? Dead? You rasp. Or scattered. The guards exchange a glance, suspicion sharpening their faces. One motions for a junior soldier. Search him. Hands grip your arms, fingers probing your tunic. You tense, expecting the soldier to feel the hidden scroll pressed against your ribs. But the young man's fingers brush past it, searching only your satchel and belt. He finds nothing. Let him through, the senior guard decides at last. If he's lying, the king will see to him. They open the gates, and you urge your horse forward into the streets of Persepolis. Inside, the city sees. Merchants pack up stalls in a hurry, eyes darting nervously. Soldiers hurry past in tight formations, faces grim. A crowd has gathered near the royal square, shouting angry words you can't quite catch. Taxes will bleed us dry. The Greeks sharpen their swords. The king sits in his palace while the empire burns. A man stands atop a stone plinth, arms flung wide, voice echoing. We are Persians, sons of Cyrus. Yet our children starve while courtiers grow fat. People roar their approval. Others glance over their shoulders, afraid of spies. You slip through the edges of the crowd, clutching the scroll tighter, every hair on your neck rising. Past the square, soldiers bar the road leading up to the palace terraces. An officer steps forward, his helmet crested with crimson horsehair. Messenger? He demands. Yes, You gasp. Urgent dispatch for the king. From Babylon. The officer studies your filthy cloak, your hollow eyes. He hesitates. Then he gestures. Follow me. Up stone stairways you climb, legs trembling. Sunlight flashes off gilded walls. Columns loom around you, painted in lapis and gold. Winged bulls glare down as though daring you to trespass further. At the topmost terrace, massive doors stand open. Inside, a hush falls, as though the entire empire holds its breath. You step into the hall of 100 columns. The air smells of incense, sweat, and old stone. At the far end, upon a golden throne, sits the king. He is robed in black and gold, beard oiled to perfection, eyes shadowed beneath a heavy crown. His face is pale. He drums long fingers on the armrest, each tap like the ticking of a death clock. To his right stands the chief vizier, wrapped in scarlet. His gaze pierces you like a blade. To the king's left, soldiers stand silent, armor gleaming. The officer who escorted you kneels. My king, a messenger from Babylon. The king's eyes lift slowly. Come forward, he says. Your legs feel made of clay. You force yourself across the polished floor. Every step echoes like the tolling of funeral bells. You drop to one knee, head bowed. The king leans forward. You carry a message? Yes, your majesty. From whom? The satrap of Babylon. Give it to me. Your hand trembles as you draw the scroll from inside your tunic. For a split second, you hesitate. You think of eating it, destroying the secrets forever. But you extend it instead. A guard takes the scroll and passes it to the vizier. The vizier breaks the black wax seal and unrolls the parchment. His eyes move rapidly over the words. Slowly, his face pales. He glances at the king. Majesty, you must hear this in private. The king's voice cracks like a whip. Read it. The vizier swallows. Then he reads aloud, voice echoing among the stone pillars. To my sovereign, king of kings, light of Persia. My spies confirm rumors of rebellion in Susa, Sardis, and Bactra. Troops are mustering without royal command. Greek envoys have been seen offering gold and weapons. It is whispered among nobles that your majesty grows mad. Some claim your majesty talks to invisible spirits, and that your majesty's blood has turned to poison. It is feared that the empire's provinces may soon break away, unless swift measures are taken. I beg your majesty to send trusted men to purge these conspirators, or else Persia may fracture as clay under heat. Written in trembling loyalty, the satrap of Babylon. Silence slams down like an axe. The vizier lowers the scroll, throat working. The king's face turns ashen. His eyes glitter like obsidian. Mad? He hisses. They dare call me mad? No one dares answer. The king rises from his throne. The hem of his robe trails across the marble. He stalks closer, stopping inches from where you kneel. Messenger, he says softly, did you read this letter? You keep your eyes fixed on the floor. No, Majesty, I cannot read. A long silence. Then the king lifts your chin with 2 fingers, forcing your gaze up. His eyes are dark pits. If I discover you lied, your skin will hang from the palace gates. You whisper, I swear on my life, Majesty. The king lets you go. He turns away, trembling with rage. The vizier murmurs, Majesty, if these rumors spread further. Silence! The king roars. His voice bounces from column to column. He spins to face the soldiers. Lock down Persepolis. No one leaves the city. Double the guard at the treasury. Summon every satrap within 10 days. If they refuse, burn their capitals to the ground. The soldiers pound their chests in salute. The king paces, twisting his rings. He mutters, Mad. They call me mad. Then he snaps toward you again. Messenger, you will carry my reply. You swallow. Yes, Majesty. The king waves his hand. The vizier produces a blank parchment and begins scribbling rapidly. His reed pen scratches like claws across a slate. When he finishes, he rolls the parchment and seals it with golden wax. Take this, the vizier says, voice low. It goes to the satrap of Babylon. None but him must read it. You nod, slipping the scroll inside your tunic. The king leans closer. His breath smells of crushed herbs and something metallic. If you fail me, he whispers, I will make your death so slow, your children's bones will remember the screaming. Your vision blurs. Yes, Majesty. The king waves a dismissive hand. Go. You back away, knees shaking. The vizier motions for a guard. Escort him to the stable. See that he has a fresh horse. Outside, dusk has fallen. Purple shadows lie across the city. The wind smells of dust and fear. The guard leads you down hidden corridors until you reach the palace stables. Lanterns sway, throwing long stripes of light over the horse's flanks. A stable hand brings out a black stallion, nostrils flaring steam. You mount, feeling the weight of the new scroll heavy against your ribs. As you ride through the city gates, the guard leans in and whispers, Gods keep you. The king grows stranger every day. Then he steps back, saluting. You urge your horse into the dark. The road unspools under the moonlight, white as bone. Clouds sweep across the stars. The air smells of frost and distant rain. Your mind races. 2 messages have crossed your hands. One spoke of rebellion. The other, you still don't know what secrets the king has written in reply. But you sense it's no message of mercy. Hours later, you reach a roadside shrine carved into the cliff face. An oil lamp flickers inside, illuminating a painted figure of Ahura Mazda. You dismount, legs stiff. Your hand touches the hidden scroll. For a wild moment, you think of throwing it into the flames, ending the Empire's secrets once and for all. But your fingers curl away. You can't decide whose truth deserves to live. Instead, you press your forehead to the cold stone of the shrine and whisper, Forgive me, Great One. I am only a man. Wind howls through the mountains. Somewhere far behind you, an empire teeters on the edge of its own madness. Ahead, the road curves away into night, and you ride on, carrying words sharp enough to carve the world in half. Why dawn, you've left Persepolis far behind. Mountains rise around you like the ribs of some ancient beast. The sky is streaked pink and gold, but your eyes feel like hot sand. You've barely slept in days. Every jolt of your horse's stride rattles the scroll hidden beneath your cloak. At a narrow pass, you halt your horse to drink from a mountain stream. The water is freezing, pure enough to make your teeth ache. You look at your reflection trembling in the ripples. A thin man with wild eyes, face hollowed by fear and fatigue. A bird shrieks overhead. You jerk upright, scanning the cliffs. Nothing moves but wind. Yet you feel it again, that certainty that someone's been following you since Persepolis. You throw the reins and ride harder. Hours pass. Dust coats your tongue, your hair, your lashes. You cross rocky hills, thorny scrub, parched plains where mirages shimmer on the horizon. Villages appear and vanish, each one half empty, people glancing at you with suspicion and dread. Near dusk, you reach a small caravanserai built of mud brick. Merchants have gathered, tethering camels and horses in the courtyard. Spices scent the air. Cumin, cloves, dried roses. A woman sings softly while grinding grain. Inside, the common room buzzes with low conversation. Traders in colorful robes discuss rising taxes and the rumors of the king's wrath. A group of soldiers huddle in a corner, polishing weapons. You sit on a reed mat and order bread and dates. The food tastes like ash in your mouth. Across the room, a man watches you. He wears a dusty cloak, his face half hidden by a hood. You look away, but moments later he rises and approaches. He sits down beside you without asking. His voice is soft. You ride fast for a man with no escort. You freeze, pulse roaring in your ears. I don't know what you mean. The man's mouth curves into a humorless smile. Every innkeeper between Persepolis and Babylon knows there's a lone messenger racing south. The king's men ask after you at every stop. Your skin crawls. Who are you? Someone who prefers to remain unseen. Let's say I serve interests who wish Persia peace. Then let me go. He leans closer. Peace requires knowledge. And you carry knowledge, hidden beneath your cloak. Your breath catches. You try to stand, but his hand clamps around your wrist. "Careful," he murmurs. "You've already been followed once tonight." Your voice shakes. "I'm just a messenger." You dismount, knees trembling. A stable boy takes your horse. You slip him a copper coin. "No one's just a messenger." He tilts his head. "Did you read the king's reply?" "I can't read." He chuckles. "Convenient. Yet you don't deny it's there." You wrench your arm free. "Leave me alone." The man watches you a moment longer. Then he rises, slipping away into the shadows. You sit trembling, sweat chilling on your skin. That night, you sleep with your back against the wall, one hand on the hilt of your dagger. Every creak of the beams, every whisper of the wind, makes you flinch. At dawn, you're gone before the sun touches the walls. For 2 days you ride without stopping, avoiding large towns, taking narrow goat tracks through the hills. Your mind spins with questions. Who was that man? Whose interests does he serve? Greek spies? Persian nobles? Or factions you haven't yet imagined? You dream of the king's eyes, black, burning, accusing you of treason even as you kneel at his feet. Finally, Babylon's outer walls rise in the distance, massive as mountains. The bricks glow red under the lowering sun. Towers stud the ramparts, banners snapping in the wind. Guards challenge you at the gates. You show your seal, voice hoarse with exhaustion. They wave you through. Inside, Babylon hums like a beehive. Merchants hawk ivory, pearls, dyed silks. Soldiers patrol the streets, swords flashing. Priests sweep temple steps, chanting prayers to gods older than Persia itself. Yet tension coils in every corner. People speak in whispers. A woman carries a basket of figs, her eyes darting as though expecting soldiers to burst from every doorway. You push through crowded alleys until you reach the satrap's palace. High walls of glazed brick rise around you, painted with lions and dragons. A steward leads you into a cool hall, floors inlaid with colored tiles. Gold braziers glow softly, perfuming the air with cedar and myrrh. At last you're brought into a small audience chamber. The satrap sits on a low throne, draped in a robe of deep indigo. His beard is streaked with gray, eyes sharp as obsidian knives. He lifts one hand. "Leave us," he orders the guards. When the chamber is empty, he studies you silently. "I was told you were dead," he says at last. You swallow. "Nearly." "And the king's reply?" You draw the scroll from your tunic. Your hands shake as you offer it. The satrap breaks the seal and reads rapidly, lips pressed in a thin line. When he finishes, he sets the scroll aside. His eyes are very dark. "You've done your duty well," he murmurs. "More than you know." You hesitate. What does it say?" He looks away, voice low. "It orders me to execute 12 nobles, seize their estates, and send their families in chains to Persepolis, and to double taxes in Babylon to fund new armies." Your stomach knots. The satrap rubs his temples. "This will tear the city apart. Will you obey?" You whisper. His smile is bitter. "Obedience has a price, as does rebellion." He studies you a long moment. Then he says almost gently, "You've seen too much. The king will want you silenced. So will others." Your mouth goes dry. "Then I'm dead." "Not necessarily." The satrap leans closer. "How far would you go to save yourself? And perhaps the empire?" Your voice cracks. "I'm only a messenger." "Not anymore." He stands and paces the chamber. At this moment, factions gather like wolves. Some want the king deposed. Some want war with Greece. Others want the empire fractured so they can rule their own corners. And you sit at the crossroads of all their secrets. He faces you again. "Help me. Deliver one more message. Not to a king, but to allies who can help us avoid civil war." Your breath hitches. "If I'm caught, you'll die." "Yes." You look down at your blistered hands. Your reflection wavers in the tiles below. "Why me?" You whisper. "Because you've already survived. Because you're fast. And because no one will suspect you're carrying anything more than another royal order." Your chest rises and falls, heart pounding. If I refuse? The satrap's voice turns cold. Then I send you back to Persepolis, and let the king decide how he wishes to question you. Silence stretches between you, heavy as iron chains. Finally, you nod. What do you want me to carry? A small, grim smile touches the satrap's lips. Good. You will ride at dusk. He goes to a locked chest and withdraws a slender cylinder of polished bronze, sealed at both ends with wax. No scroll visible. Inside is a sliver of ivory, he explains, carved with a message only certain eyes can read. If captured, say it is a holy relic for the Temple of Marduk. You take it. It weighs almost nothing, yet it feels heavier than iron. You'll ride south first, the satrap says. Then circle west, toward the sea. You must reach a ship waiting at Tyre. Only there can this message sail beyond Persian eyes. Tyre, you echo. That's weeks away. Then ride faster than ever. He grips your shoulder, eyes burning with quiet urgency. If you fail, the empire burns. You leave the chamber in silence, the cylinder hidden beneath your cloak. Outside, the sun sets in a blood-red sky. Bells ring across Babylon, summoning priests to prayer. You slip through the streets like a ghost, avoiding patrols, moving toward the southern gate. At the gate, the guards nod at your seal and wave you through. Beyond the walls, darkness waits. Stars prick the velvet sky. Somewhere out there, armies sharpen their swords. Nobles whisper behind carved doors. An empire teeters on a blade. And you, a messenger who never wanted this, ride into the night, carrying secrets that could decide the fate of millions. Wind hisses through the palm trees. Your horse's hooves drum the packed earth. You clutch the bronze cylinder against your chest, praying it doesn't rattle. Because now, you're not just outrunning assassins or the king's wrath. You're outrunning history itself. Night in the desert feels alive. The sand breathes under your horse's hooves, sighing with secrets. Stars blaze so bright they feel close enough to touch, but they offer no warmth, only cold silver light. You ride hard, each mile grinding your bones to dust. Your cloak whips around you, snapping in the wind. The bronze cylinder presses into your ribs. You keep hearing echoes behind you. A hoof fall, a faint cough, the creak of leather. Each time you look back, there's nothing but black dunes and silent sky. On the second night, you leave the main road, plunging into dry riverbeds and thorny gullies. You drink water that tastes of copper and salt. Your horse stumbles on rocks, almost throwing you. Once you sleep for an hour, curled beneath a brittle bush. You dream you're back in Persepolis, kneeling before the king. His eyes glow like coals. When he speaks, scorpions pour from his mouth. You wake choking on dust, certain someone's standing over you. But you're alone. By dawn, your lips are cracked and bleeding. Your eyes burn. You count each breath, forcing yourself to keep going. Then, in the heat shimmer, you see smoke. A village. You approach cautiously, guiding your horse behind low mud walls. The place seems deserted at first. Doors barred, windows shuttered. Chickens scratch in silence. But then you glimpse an old woman carrying a basket of herbs. She freezes when she sees you, eyes wide with suspicion. I need water, you rasp, and grain for my horse. She doesn't answer. Instead, she scuttles into a house and slams the door. You exhale shakily and ride on. Near the far edge of the village, you find a small well. You dismount, drop the bucket, and haul up water so cold it numbs your teeth. You drink until your stomach aches. Suddenly, you hear a voice behind you. That's a dangerous road you're riding. You spin, hand on your dagger. A man stands there, draped in a pale linen robe. His hair is bound in a cloth, his face lean and sunburnt, but his eyes are shrewd. Easy, he says. I'm a merchant. I sell dates and spices to Tyre. You swallow. Then you should keep to the main roads. He studies you, and you should not be alone. Men die out here for less than what you carry. Your pulse hammers. I carry nothing. Of course. His lips curve faintly. I've heard that before. You edge away, but he lifts a hand. Wait, I'm not your enemy. I'm heading west. Tyre, we could travel together. You hesitate. Every instinct screams not to trust him. But riding alone has become a death sentence. How far are you going? You ask. All the way to the sea. He smiles. Safer in numbers, yes? You nod, reluctantly. All right. That day, you ride side by side. He talks constantly, telling stories about fat Phoenician merchants, Egyptian priests who poison rivals, pirates off Cyprus. But you notice how his eyes keep flicking to the bronze cylinder hidden under your cloak. That night, you make camp beside a dry stream. You keep the fire small, half-buried under stones. While your companion sleeps, you slip away into the darkness, burying the bronze tube beneath a pile of rocks a mile from camp. When you return, he's awake, sitting up, eyes glinting in the firelight. Couldn't sleep? He asks lightly. No, neither could I. He gestures at the darkness. These lands crawl with spies, everyone listening, everyone whispering. You know, the king's orders stretch farther than any wall. You say nothing. He leans forward. Is it true that the king plans to crush Babylon? Your breath catches. I'm a merchant, he says, but even merchants hear things. I don't know anything, you say quickly. He studies you, then sighs. Ah, perhaps that's best. He lies back down, turning away, but you stay awake until dawn, listening for footsteps. 2 days later, you ride into the plains near the coast. Date palms rise like black spears against the burning sky. The air smells of brine. Seagulls circle overhead. At last you glimpse Tyre, a city rising from the sea, its stone walls bright white in the sun. Ships bob in the harbor, sails snapping in the wind. Your companion smiles. Home, he urges his horse forward. But you rein yours in, watching the city. Your chest tightens. The bronze cylinder waits, buried in the desert behind you. Do you trust the satrap? Do you trust anyone? You ride into Tyre cautiously. Merchants yell in half a dozen languages. Dockworkers haul amphorae of oil, crates of figs, sacks of spices. Your companion disappears into the crowd. Alone, you move through the market, searching for the landmark the satrap described. A tavern marked by a painted fish. Inside, sailors drink thick black wine. A harpist plucks a mournful tune in the corner. At a table near the back, 2 men sit talking quietly. One has a deep scar running from his eye to his jaw. The other wears a Greek cloak dyed the color of old blood. You approach, heart slamming. I'm to deliver something, you whisper, for the satrap of Babylon. Both men go still. Where is it? The Greek demands. I buried it. The man with the scar curses softly. Where? In the desert. He seizes your arm. Then we go tonight. An hour later, you're riding back into the wilderness. The 2 strangers flank you, silent and tense. By moonlight, you find the pile of rocks and dig until your fingers bleed. You pull out the bronze cylinder. The scarred man grabs it. He tests the seals, then nods once. Good. Now we run. He jerks his head. Come. We'll get you on a ship before dawn. But as you mount your horse, you hear the hiss of arrows. Figures explode from the dunes, swords gleaming. Persian soldiers. Chaos erupts. The Greek goes down with a spear in his chest. The scarred man fights like a mad dog hacking at soldiers. You spur your horse, clutching the bronze tube. Sand flies in all directions. Steel crashes against steel. Screams fill the air. A soldier grabs your reins. You slash his face and break free. Blood blinds your eyes. You ride into the dark, hoofs pounding. When the sounds fade, you find yourself alone. The desert stretches around you, empty and silent. The cylinder glows faintly in the moonlight. You look toward the sea, then toward the east, where Persia waits. Your chest rises and falls. Somewhere back in Tyre, soldiers search the harbor. Spies slip through the markets. The king's wrath crackles like dry grass waiting for fire. You weigh the bronze tube in your hand. Inside lies a sliver of ivory that could change everything. Start a war or end one. Wind whispers across the dunes. At last, you turn your horse west, toward the sea. Before sunrise, you reach the coast. Waves break white against black rocks. At the edge of the water, a ship waits, sail furled, lantern swinging. A figure waves from the deck. You gallop to the end of the pier, heart hammering. Sailors haul you aboard. Salt spray soaks your clothes. The captain grabs your arm. Do you have it? You hold up the bronze cylinder. The captain grins fiercely. Good. We sail now. Ropes creak. The ship pulls away from shore. Tire shrinks behind you, lanterns flickering like stars. You stand at the rail, clutching the cylinder. Wind tears at your cloak. Somewhere far ahead, across open seas, lies freedom, or perhaps new enemies waiting. You taste salt on your lips and close your eyes. For now, you're alive. For now, the message survives. And for a fleeting moment, under the blazing stars, you dare to hope that one lone messenger might yet outrun an empire. So, tell me, where in the world are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. I love seeing how far these stories travel. And if you enjoyed running for your life through the Persian Empire tonight, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like more journeys into the strange and forgotten corners of history. Another story is waiting for you right now on screen. Tap it and I'll meet you there. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.